There are many reasons, of course. There's always, it's not a one thing. But I think that, look, I need to preface this because it's important, because the Cliff Notes version is they hate him because he wants men to be better. And he has a positive message for men. But I don't believe that the answer for men is to whine and complain. Right. So I'm not into like men's rights movements, because I just don't think, more than anything else, I don't think they're effective. Forget about how they behave and the morality and the whatever. I don't think people, we're biologically different, and we're programmed to have sympathy for women, and we're programmed to consider men disposable. That is the biological reality. You're not going to change it. Men creating movements where they protest and complain about the rights isn't going to change anything. Men just have to be better and work harder and, look after their own interests. And one of the things about the interests of men is to find women who want to be with them, and who don't hate men, right? That's really how you solve that problem at an individual level. But the reason they hate Jordan Peterson is he came out and he unapologetically wanted men to be better. He wanted everyone to be better. And that's one of the other reasons they didn't like him, of course. But also he challenged the ideology. And the reason I say this, people will think I'm being sort of conspiratorial or whatever, but if you cast your mind back to like the Kathy Newman interview and all of that, he did also an interview for GQ with a woman called Helen Lewis, who's interviewed me. And they all, I don't remember if she asked him this specifically, but lots of other journalists all kept saying to him, yeah, but the majority of your audience are men. What is that? Like it was a bad thing. No one goes to a cosmetics company and says, the majority of the audience are women. Why is that? Because there's nothing wrong with women, but there's something wrong with men in their worldview. And we hear it in the language of wokeness. You're just a straight white man. You're a toxic masculinity. You're toxic this, toxic that. And I think the reason that Jordan Peterson came under attack is because not only was he trying to tell men and women, but particularly men, to be better, he also embodied traditional masculine virtues that people don't want to see men exhibit in the world.
What do you think, like, the one or two top masculine attributes are that people don't want to see?
Confidence, strength, someone who's not going to back down, someone who's going to, fight his corner all the way. Again, because people are stupid, I have to say this. I'm not saying women can't be strong and confident, right? But we don't like to see men express those things. If you look at movies, if you look at television shows, if you look at stand-up, the guy's always the goof, the idiot, the this, the that. It's weak, pathetic, and the woman is the girl boss and whatever. That's what apparently these people want to see. So they didn't want to see a guy who would come along and go, actually, no, you're wrong about that. And I'm gonna make the argument, and I'm gonna argue the case, and I'm gonna persuade you. And if you don't agree with me, well, you're wrong. Like, they don't want to see that. They want to attack him and then for him to back down.
Yeah. It is interesting that you mentioned movies. I think there's been a very, very big difference between even people who are cast for certain roles, but the storylines of many of these movies, right? You start to see, I always joke, like the movie version of the mannequins inside of the store, where they used to be what essentially looked like ripped, models, and now they've got dad bods. And that's celebrated to a degree. You also are starting to see some of that in movies where the hero or whatever actually doesn't look or act the same way that they would have 10, 15, 20 years ago, and definitely not 50 years ago. And I do wonder how much of that is programming children's mind, who then will grow to be adults and has a long-term impact, versus they watch a movie and then they go and they see, a sports star on television where it can't be faked. Like you can't be fat and be in the NBA, right? For the most part, like you have to be an athletic person who is able to actually accomplish the task.
I know what you mean. Look, the media, the Hollywood, they're powerful machines for communicating stereotypes to people, right? That's what it's about. And if all you see when you're growing up is men who are weak and pathetic, then people are going to take that message to heart. Now, of course, some people will rebel against that. But my worry is not only that, it's also like, and I talk about this in my Substack about Jordan, why they hate Jordan Peterson, is like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's been an explosion in people going to the gym specifically to look buff, not to like be healthy or whatever, but to like look buff. Like it's a look thing for a lot of people. And my view on it is, and again, it's something it's a theory. I'm not saying this is necessarily true, but it's the one area where men are still allowed to express authentic masculinity. Like you are allowed to go to the gym and lift weights. That's not toxic, not yet. There will be a time when that becomes toxic as well, right? And there are already articles about how going to the gym and being healthy is right wing. Like they're already writing them, but it's the one area where men can go and be men and show up in the world as men. And I think that's why it's kind of displaced masculinity. And that worries me to some extent. Don't get me wrong, gym's healthy, gym's great, exercise is great, lifting's great, all of that stuff is great. But some people now think that to be a man is to look like a man. And that is not what being a man is about at all. Being a man is about how you carry yourself in the world, what kind of father you are, what kind of husband you are, what impact you have on the world, what kind of leader you are. These are the things that make a man a man. You don't have to be. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, that can't be the only place that men channel their energy to be masculine. Like that energy that people spend going to the gym, you might want to spread that around a bit in terms of some other things. That's all I'm saying.
The last thing I want to talk to you about is Bitcoin. And actually, we haven't talked about this, so I have no clue if you know anything about Bitcoin, if you're interested in it at all. But a lot of, I think, your view of the world